Ladies and gentlemen, the power of the mind is one of the most profound and transformative forces we possess. It shapes our perception of reality, influences our emotions, and directs our actions. However, we must understand that the mind in its natural state often works in a way that causes us more suffering than peace. It is constantly engaged in thought, analyzing the past, worrying about the future, and identifying with the ego. But when we become aware of the mind's tendencies and learn to shift our relationship with it, we begin to unlock its true potential. Understanding the power of the mind is recognizing that we are not our thoughts. This realization is crucial in the process of transcending the mind's influence over us. The mind constantly churns out thoughts, some helpful, some disruptive, many of which are rooted in the past or anxieties about the future. However, when we identify with every thought that arises, we become trapped in a cycle of mental noise, and this keeps us from experiencing life as it truly is. Thoughts, in their natural flow, come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. But the key is to remember that we are not the thoughts themselves, we are the awareness that observes them. This distinction between the thinker and the observer is profound. It shifts our understanding of the mind's role. Instead of being swept up in the current of thoughts, we begin to watch them from a place of stillness. The mind becomes a tool rather than a force that controls us. By observing our thoughts, we realize they do not define us. They are simply mental patterns that arise and fade away. When we detach from the identification with our thoughts, we reclaim our true power. By practicing mindfulness and cultivating awareness, we can create space between ourselves and our thoughts. In this space, we can allow thoughts to arise and pass without attaching any significance to them. We stop judging ourselves for thinking negative or unwanted thoughts, and we understand that the nature of the mind is simply to think. This shift in perception allows us to experience the freedom that comes with detaching from the constant stream of mental activity. The more we identify with our true essence, the more we realize that the thoughts we have do not define us, but are simply passing phenomena. Understanding the power of the mind is recognizing how it is often preoccupied with time, specifically the past and the future. The mind tends to dwell on what has already occurred, replaying past events and experiences, often attaching emotions to them. This focus on the past can lead to regret, guilt, and feelings of unworthiness. Similarly, the mind often projects into the future, anticipating what may happen, which creates worry, fear, and anxiety. By constantly oscillating between these two time zones, the mind keeps us from experiencing the only time that truly exists, the present moment. When we learn to focus our attention on the present, we free ourselves from the mental traps of the past and future. The present moment is where life is happening, where all experiences unfold, where decisions are made, and where joy can be found. However, the mind, caught up in its habitual patterns, often neglects the present, mistaking it for something less important than what has been or what may be. This mindset leads to unnecessary stress and a disconnection from the richness of life as it is. True power lies in the present moment because it is the only time we can directly influence. By embracing the now, we stop running from our thoughts about the past and future, we stop fighting the flow of life and instead engage fully with it. The present is where we can experience peace, as we are not burdened by the mental noise of what has been or what might be. By training ourselves to bring our attention back to the present, we gain clarity, allowing us to respond to life from a place of balance rather than reaction. It is in the present that we access the full potential of our mind. Unlocking the power of the mind lies in its immense potential for creativity, problem solving, and transformation. The mind, when consciously directed, becomes a powerful tool for manifesting our desires, solving challenges, and bringing new ideas into the world. However, this creative potential is often stifled by the constant mental chatter and distractions that accompany an unconscious mind. The key to tapping into the mind's creative power is to quiet the noise of unnecessary thoughts and cultivate a state of stillness. When the mind is quiet, it becomes a vessel for inspiration, free from the limitations imposed by anxiety, judgment, or overthinking. In this space, fresh insights, ideas, and solutions can emerge with ease. Creativity, in its true form, is not about forcing ideas or trying to control the process. It arises naturally when the mind is open and clear. This is why many of the world's greatest inventions, discoveries, and works of art often come when the mind is at ease, when a person is no longer trying to make something happen, but is simply receptive to the flow of inspiration. Moreover, the mind's potential for problem solving is greatly enhanced when we allow ourselves to step back from the issue and observe it from a place of calm. When we are overwhelmed by emotions or trapped in a cycle of anxiety, our thinking becomes clouded and narrow. But when we approach a problem with a still mind, we can see it from different angles, allowing solutions to arise naturally. The mind is incredibly resourceful, and when used consciously, it is capable of finding innovative solutions and transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. This creative and transformative power of the mind is accessible to everyone when we learn to quiet its distractions and align it with our deeper sense of awareness. Understanding the power of the mind is the importance of embracing the stillness within. In a world filled with constant distractions and mental noise, it is easy to become disconnected from the deep, inner stillness that resides within each of us. This stillness is not an absence of thought, but rather a state of inner calm that allows us to experience life with greater clarity, understanding, and peace. When we learn to access this stillness, we can respond to life with wisdom and insight rather than reacting from a place of fear, stress, or emotional turbulence. In the midst of life's chaos, the stillness of the mind becomes a refuge. It is a space where we can step outside of the constant ebb and flow of thoughts and emotions and experience the present moment as it truly is. This stillness allows us to connect with our deeper essence, the part of us that is not defined by external circumstances or the stream of thoughts that often dominate our experience. When we are in touch with this inner stillness, we begin to operate from a place of understanding and acceptance rather than from the conditioned responses of the mind. By embracing the stillness within, we create the conditions for clarity and insight to emerge. In this state, we can see situations more objectively, without the distortion of past experiences or future projections. This allows us to make better decisions, respond to challenges with equanimity, and interact with others in a more grounded and compassionate way. The stillness of the mind is not passive, it is an active presence that helps us navigate the complexities of life with grace and awareness. Through stillness, we access the deeper wisdom that resides within, allowing the power of the mind to be used in service of our highest good. Harnessing the power of the mind is the importance of awareness and conscious presence. Many of us go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations and people based on habitual thought patterns, emotional triggers, and past experiences. Our minds become like well-worn paths, following the same routes without question. However, when we become aware of the present moment, we begin to break free from these unconscious habits and engage with life in a more intentional and purposeful way. Awareness is the gateway to true freedom. It is through awareness that we can recognize the automatic thoughts and reactions that drive our behavior. Once we bring awareness to these patterns, we have the power to change them. Instead of automatically reacting to a stressful situation, for example, awareness allows us to pause and choose how we want to respond. It enables us to see that we are not simply victims of our thoughts and circumstances, but that we have the ability to observe and shift our experience. Conscious presence is the act of being fully engaged in the current moment. It means focusing on what is happening right now without distractions or judgment. When we practice being present, we stop living in the past or future and start to experience life as it unfolds. This presence allows us to experience deeper connections with others, more clarity in our decision-making, and greater peace in the midst of challenges. The mind, when anchored in the present moment, becomes a powerful ally, free from the grip of past conditioning and future fears. The power of awareness and conscious presence lies in its ability to transform our experience of reality. It opens up new possibilities, giving us the clarity and insight needed to navigate life with intention and grace. By cultivating awareness, we tap into the full potential of the mind and live in harmony with the world around us. Unlocking the power of the mind is understanding the role of acceptance and surrender. The mind, in its natural state, often seeks control over situations, people, and outcomes. This desire for control arises from the ego's need for security and certainty. However, the constant struggle to control everything around us can lead to stress, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness. The true power of the mind is realized when we learn to accept what is and surrender to the flow of life rather than fighting against it. Acceptance is not about resignation or giving up, it is about embracing the present moment as it is, without resistance. When we accept the circumstances we face without judgment or attachment, we free ourselves from the mental and emotional strain that comes from trying to change what is beyond our control. Acceptance allows us to release the need for external validation or perfection, opening the door to inner peace. It enables us to see life as it truly is, without the distortion of our expectations or preconceived notions. Surrendering to the flow of life is not about passivity, it is about trusting that life is unfolding as it should. Surrender does not mean giving up on our dreams or goals, but rather allowing the process of achieving them to unfold naturally. When we stop forcing outcomes and start to trust in the timing of life, we release the tension and anxiety that often accompany our pursuits. Surrender creates space for the mind to operate with clarity, wisdom, and creativity. It allows us to align ourselves with a deeper sense of purpose and trust that everything is happening for our highest good. By practicing acceptance and surrender, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, trusting that whatever arises is an opportunity for growth and learning. This shift in mindset unlocks the mind's true power, enabling us to experience life with more peace, grace, and understanding.